Good morning, everybody. This is Mark from Red Duchess Farm. Thought we'd take a walk today out through the garden area, which has not been cleaned up and put to bed for the winter yet. Too many other things on the agenda right now. But we have a little patch of sorghum back here at the back of the garden area, and we don't have a sorghum mill, so looking for other options that we could use the sorghum for. And we're going to cut a little bit of it, save the seed heads to feed to the chickens, and we're going to chunk up the stems, which I've tasted and they are fairly sweet, and see whether the calf will eat them or not. I don't think that'll be much of an issue. I think that he will. But this sorghum is some seed that a friend of mine had, and he had it for years and years. He had been years ago going down and helping some old guys at a town about 20 miles or so from us do sorghum in the fall, and they quit doing sorghum, and he got a little bag of the seeds. And he gave me the seed last year, and I did a test planting of it in 4 packs in the greenhouse. I did a flat of it, 12 4-packs, and it all germinated. No idea how old the seed was. So we planted that last year, and that's all we got planted was the 48 cells from the 12 4-packs, and wound up with an abundance of seed. So this year I planted more and got it too close together, so the canes did not get as big as I would have liked. So now we're going to see what we can do with it. The main reason that we started raising sorghum was I was looking for a small grain for chicken feed, and I looked for an organic type heirloom grain sorghum or Milo and couldn't seem to find anything out there, and got to thinking and doing some research and rolling around ideas, and realized that you could grow sorghum, you could get the seed heads for feeding to the chickens and other fowl, and you would still have the cane that if we get a mill back in the neighborhood at some point, if I can find one, then we will be able to make sorghum. Although we also do maple syrup on the farm and have bees, so we do have other sweeteners on the homestead. But we're wanting to see whether or not we can use the actual stalks for a feed stock also. So we'll cut a few and we'll chop them into segments, and we'll see if the calf is interested in them or not. If the calf's not, maybe the donkeys will be, or horses, or some critter on the farm. And that should be enough to get us started. We'll take this up to the house and see what we can do with it for feed. And we're back up at the house, and we're going to cut some of this sorghum cane into short pieces for livestock feed. You could either use a corn knife, which I've got here, Or I also went and got a hatchet, and a hatchet works fine. It tends to want to splatter and spray when you make the cuts, so I set a little piece of plywood here to kind of catch it, but just chunk it up in pieces. And then on the seed heads, what I generally do with those, rather than throwing into the chicken's hole like this, which I'm sure they can handle, but I just strip it off. And you wind up with a small bowl of seed and the stalk. And they love it. And it's fairly high in protein and makes a good poultry feed. And we're out at the barn. Got a little bit of a bucket of this cut up cane, and we'll see whether he shows any interest in what's in the bucket. And he's going right after it, so it looks like sorghum cane for cattle feed is going to work out. And I thought while we were out here we'd walk around to the chicken yard, which is just on the other side of this wall here, and throw some seed out to the chickens. And this seed is, roughly radish sized seed, maybe just slightly larger than radishes. But they tend to be pretty interested in the seed as well. So it looks like raising sorghum as just a feedstock for livestock will work fine without ever having to process it into sorghum. This is Mark from Red Duchess Farms. Thanks for watching.